Today we're going to take a look at my Nano Goblin build. You might notice something different about it than a normal Nano Goblin. This one is pretty well and cooked. I was planning on making a nice series on getting this thing upgraded. You can see here these are not the standard Elevons that come with the Nano Goblin, but this one met its demise yesterday. This is a 5+ year old, maybe 6 years old Nano Goblin. It's one of my first planes that I had iNav on. I do have a drift that is slightly older, but this is one of the originals. And it's a little sad to see it go, but it did go pretty fast to get it to this state. I do have some thoughts on what may have happened, but I'll just sort of briefly go over the build and what's left of it. So I did have an 04 air unit, light unit on the nose there. That is absolutely destroyed. I think the camera, I can probably reuse the camera. It does have a slight scratch there on the lens, but I think I can replace that lens with an analog camera I have on hand. The antenna actually looks okay. I could probably print another cap there, but this is sort of a cheapie anyway, so it's sort of a lost cause. But really the biggest downside is this air unit. This air unit doesn't appear to have too much damage on first glance, but you can see here this corner is completely trashed. It must have, I think it was this corner here. I just mounted it on top of the foam, and that's the, looks to be the point of impact there, that front corner. And I did try plugging this in. Unfortunately, won't be getting the video off of this one. I do have some goggle recording that I'll show here at the end of the video. But yeah, this is a little unfortunate, but oh well. Maybe I can just buy a new air unit on its own and get the camera hooked up and see if that works. But yeah, camera and the whole module looks fine. Just really the lens that has the issue. Cooked, just absolutely shredded this Flywoo case for the ND filters. Luckily, they're a dime a dozen. The ND filter was destroyed. I don't know where the glass is, but I had just the little ring there for the ND filter, and that was there's nothing I can do with that. So here is the flight controller. This is just a Matek F45 WSE, I believe. I'm not sure exactly what it's called. It's actually in okay condition. You can see here I sort of ripped out the servos from the left side wing here. No big deal. And if there's some bent pins in there, I can rebend them. It should be fine. I did rip one negative pad off of the flight controller. You can see it there. Sort of an okay breakage. There is another ground pad here. I can just put a big glob on that and it should be fine to run. It also served as, because this disconnected, there wasn't current running through things, so I wasn't pulling any current from the battery. The DJI-04 unit turned off, which didn't really matter anyway, it was toast. But I wasn't actively pushing or pulling current and causing problems that way, so that was kind of nice. I haven't decided if I'll reuse this flight controller, but we'll see in the future. Obviously, the Beck, this thing's so small, it's not has 0 damage. I'll reuse it here in a moment. The ESC, totally fine. I'll reuse that one. RX Nano, totally fine. I'll reuse it. I'll probably replace the antenna here. That's a little worse for wear, but yeah. ESC, totally fine. No problems with that. The motor spins like nothing happened. I don't even think the motor hit the ground there. Spins completely fine. So that'll be just fine. This is a Toka 1408 4100 kV, spinning a 3x28 prop, I believe. So it was a very fast Nano Goblin. It ran on 4S. Let's see, here's the battery. I have it discharging because it was mounted here in the nose, and of course it was mounted just like this, and that side impact just crushed those cells. So unfortunate. This is a relatively new battery. I think only had flown a few times, and I used it for the flick as well. So little unfortunate here, but that's okay. Well, that's pokey. Something's pokey. Something poked me big time. I guess let me also say that this was found in a bunch of cactus. I have that clip of where I found it, just out in the desert. It did okay, honestly. I think flight was going well. I was having a good time. I just pushed this new Avan setup too much. It was definitely able to maintain higher speeds with this setup, but clearly I pushed it too hard. I think this is actually the state in which I found the plane. I made no changes other than throwing away some of the odd bits. I didn't want to leave foam or plastic out in the desert. But this is how it looked when I picked it up. And I think I have a few theories on what may have happened. I'll start by saying that this is older foam, and so the adherence and it's fairly compliant. You can see here if I bend this hatch, that's not how a new Nano Goblin bends. It's much more stiff than that. So I think maybe the adhesion between the cells has worn down over time because this is an older frame. I don't know that to be certain, but it definitely feels that way, especially with how compliant some of these foam pieces are. So having said that, I think I was in a very steep dive trying to test out these Elevons to see what kind of speed I can get. Spoiler alert, I don't have the speed on hand. I forgot to put it in the OSD, and obviously I wasn't reading it off of this, off of the landing screen in iNav, so there's a couple things that stood out to me. One, that is how that servo was when I picked it up. This Elevon here was fully deflected the way you can see here. And that's how I found it. So it's jammed between you can see the end of the servo horn sort of went through the tape there. Right there, went through the tape. And there you can see it right there. And it's stuck like that. So I'm going to actually pull it back live here just to see. But this is how I did find it. We're going to pull it back best I can. It's almost stuck in there. Let's see. Yeah, that's locked. So I don't know if that happened during the flight or happened afterwards, but let's go ahead and see if I can unscrew that there. Let's see. Again, obviously the desk is a mess, so let me quickly grab some screwdrivers here and we'll get that off. Let's see if we can figure out what may have happened here. Slightly smaller size. So that's out of there. Let's see if we can. Oh, okay. So, yeah, you can see that's sort of what I had thought had happened. If you can see that, these servos, I don't know if you've ever moved a servo before, but you can feel the gears and the steps there. Oh. But yeah, definitely just completely strip those gears out. See if we can. That's not what a servo sounds like. And again, on this side, if you take a look, yeah, that is not what you want out of servos. You want them to actually hold their place. And I think ultimately what happened on this frame is the servos gave out. They just quit. Too much force pushing against them. I don't know if these are metal gears. These are just the standard Strix servos that come with the plane. So I don't know if they're metal geared or not. I would think that they're probably not. But yeah, those quit. And I think shortly after those quit, completely lost control of the plane. And what happened was the force of the in the rolling that was induced, and you'll see in the video later, actually ripped the plane and the foam in the direction of the spin. So I don't know if you can see this. This is how I found the plane. This wing was folded down like this, and this wing was folded up like this, basically inducing a spin. And you'll see that on the brief video I have later on. I think the actual force ripped the foam off, ripped the foam wings completely, tore them, and that's what induced the roll I had for the entire crash at that point. So yeah. Other than that, I really enjoyed this plane. I had it for a long time. It was a good, fast setup, and I may rebuild it and just use some hardcore servos in the wing. But we will see. I do have some other projects to work on. A little bit of a somber tone because I did enjoy this plane quite a bit, but there are some upsides. You know, I didn't totally trash all the electronics. This GPS unit untouched, so I'll reuse that. Really just need a new frame and some new servos, so we'll see. Maybe I'll make a video on building up a brand new Nano Goblin from scratch, but yeah, just wanted to make a quick video. I know I had said I would make a video on this plane, and obviously there won't be another video on this plane. This guy's going. I'm going to strip out the electronics, and it's going in the trash, but yeah. Anyway, stay tuned for new builds. I am very tempted to get a new Nano Goblin and build it up for really high speeds and just good performance, but we'll see. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.